After 13 years together, my wife found her soulmate. She claims he's genuine and money means nothing to him. I smiled, texted my lawyer, close her credit lines, stop her father's bills, and remove her from the property deed immediately. She told me over dinner. Candles lit, the good plates out, like she'd rehearsed the whole thing in the car on the way home. I remember thinking she looked nervous in a way I hadn't seen in years, and some stupid hopeful part of me thought maybe she was about to tell me she was pregnant. She was not pregnant. His name was Mason, she said, a hiking guide she'd met on a weekend trip with her sister back in March. He didn't care about the house or the cars or the trips or any of it. He made her feel free, she said, like she could breathe again. She used the word genuine 4 times in about 2 minutes. I counted. I just nodded and asked if she wanted more wine. She looked almost disappointed that I wasn't screaming. I think she wanted a fight, something to justify the decision she'd already made. I wasn't going to give her one, not yet. What she didn't know was that I'd already seen the charges. A spa weekend in March, the exact week she told me she was visiting her sister alone. Dinner receipts from a restaurant we'd never once been to together. A place with a wine list I didn't even recognize. A necklace charge from a boutique downtown that never showed up on her. Not once, not around me, not in any photo she'd posted or any dinner we'd had since. I'd almost dismissed the charges the first time I saw them. Told myself it was probably a gift for her sister, some birthday thing I'd forgotten about. I hadn't forgotten anything. Her father's medical bills had been quietly running through my account for 4 years. Nobody asked me to do that. I did it because he was family, because his insurance had lapsed and Nicole cried about it one night and I couldn't stand seeing her worried. The house deed had her name added 2 years ago. A gift. My idea. My lawyer's paperwork. So while she sat across from me explaining how Mason didn't need money, didn't care about status, wasn't caught up in all of this the way I apparently was, I picked up my phone under the table and texted my lawyer. Close her credit lines. Stop her father's coverage. Get her off the deed. He wrote back in 4 minutes. First thing tomorrow. I finished my wine. She kept talking. Something about how she didn't want to sneak around, how honesty mattered to her, how she thought deep down I already knew we'd grown apart. I let her finish. I even nodded a few times. By morning, her cards were frozen at the pharmacy. She called me confused, annoyed, said there must be some bank error, some glitch with the new statements. I told her I'd look into it, kept my voice level, kept pretending I was just as puzzled as she was. By that afternoon, the deed transfer was filed, clean, her name removed, nothing left to contest because I'd never rushed a single step of it. My lawyer had warned me from the start, do this right the first time, and there's nothing for anyone to fight later. She called me screaming that evening, asked how I could do this to someone I'd loved for 13 years, asked if I even cared what happened to her father's health insurance. I told her Mason didn't need money, so none of this should really bother her. She hung up on me. 3 weeks later, she moved into Mason's studio apartment, certain she'd found something real. I heard about it from her sister, who still felt guilty enough to keep me updated, whether I asked for it or not. For a while, it looked like she'd actually landed somewhere soft. Pictures on his page of the two of them at some lake, her laughing at him with a lightness she hadn't shown me in years, tanned, her hair longer than she'd worn it in a decade. A few mutual friends mentioned it carefully, like they were worried I'd fall apart hearing it. I didn't. Part of me almost let myself think, fine, maybe this works out for her. Maybe genuine was real this time. For her at least. Even if it hadn't been for me, that part didn't last long. Turns out I wasn't the only one curious about Mason. A friend recognized him from a photo Nicole had posted online, tagged him without thinking, laughed in the comments about how small the world was. Turned out Mason had done this before, more than once, according to people who knew him from Colorado. Always married women, always established, always footing the bill for retreats and gear he swore he didn't care about. Real doesn't cover rent, it turns out, no matter how genuine someone claims to be over dinner. Her sister told me Mason stopped answering Nicole's calls the exact week her allowance from the divorce settlement ran dry. Blocked her number by the following weekend. He was already posting pictures with someone new by the time the month was out. Same lake, same trail, different woman, same soft smile, same line about how genuine she was. Probably word for word, down to the tone he used saying it.